are 330 other cities in 41 nations all around the world coming together right now, worried about the same thing we're worried about. I'm worried about bees. How many of you are worried about bees? How many want to give bees a chance? I do too. So my name's Charby, and I'm here because I'm concerned about the bees. And what's happening to the bees is they're dying in the very fields where we feed ourselves from. And if you look in those fields really close, it's not just bees that are dying. Everything's dying. Do you want to know why?
Why?
It's the seeds. We're becoming a nation from one side to the other, from sea to shining sea, of corn. And this corn has seeds in them that they sell to farmers, and they tell the farmer, you don't need to spray so much. And the farmer says, this is awesome. I don't want to do that. That's bad stuff. What they don't tell, because they've got a great marketing department, is it's because the seeds are the poison. What does that mean to you? Do you guys like that? I don't think so. What Monsanto has done is contracted out another company we're familiar with, Bayer. And what Bayer learned how to do is they learned how to buffer aspirin. And Monsanto said, I'm getting a corporate-sized headache trying to figure out how to stay on top of the world's profitability status. And they knew that these sprays were starting to yield these super weeds, but they didn't know how to get around it. They thought, you know what, if I can just make the plant think that the stuff I'm spraying on it is water, we all win. Do you think we all win when that happens?
No!
So what they did is they contracted Bayer. They had a headache, and they reached into their corporate citizen headache closet, and they pulled out a bottle of buffered aspirin, and before they ate it, they looked at it and they said, hey, wait a second, we've been trying to get this poison into these seeds, and they keep dying every time we put them in. And what we're finding now is I'm getting a headache because of it, but you guys figured out a way to get aspirin that tastes bad at the lip to deliver the payload in your belly by buffering it, right? So they talked to Bayer and said, can you buffer our poisons to get them in the seeds? And you know what they found worked the best? Nicotine.
Oh!
Nicotine is that thing we don't like with cigarettes, but it's taken on a whole new life because nicotine is the unlimited door pass. It gets into anywhere you want. So they surround the seeds with a powder that has their poison and nicotine in it, and when the seed opens up, the poison gets into the seed as a baby, and the entire plant grows up as poison. That means the root, the stem, the stalk, the leaves, the flowers, the nectar, and the fruit. Bees like nectar. People like the fruit. Right now, we're having in America 1 out of 3 bites of food that we eat brought to us by insect pollinators, and 90% of those come from honeybees. Last winter, 1 out of 3 colonies of bees died.
Oh!
Anybody think that's a good number? I don't think so either. Now the problem we have is that the fields are poisoned. So we got to start bringing bees into the city and taking care of them. And guess who knows that? Our little dead friend Monsanto over there. So if you look on the shelves over at your garden centers, it's all full of blue bottles now. Blue bottles made by who?
Monsanto.
No. Bayer. Hired by Monsanto. Because Monsanto is so clever, they're like, boy, we're getting a bad rap in town. Let's hire out another company, get some proceeds from it, and let them take the heat. Because they're from Germany, right? So check this out. Bayer, made in Germany, is banned from selling any of their seeds in Germany ever since it came out. They said, sell it to the Americans. They're dumb. They don't even want to label the food that it's GMO. Are we nuts? Are we going to let them do that?
No!
I say no. I say no. So I'm going to do a teach-in and tell you a little bit about bees. I'm going to be over by the Monsanto guy. We're going to stand over his corpse, the skeleton, and we're going to talk about bees. And we're going to talk about how we can make the world better by bringing in urban bees. I make a product called a bee pod. It's a top bar hive, and it's a different way of doing beekeeping. And I think it's a smart way for us to do it in the city because it's beekeeping for the bees, not for the money and the honey. But the neat thing about bees is that they give us the honey and they show us where we can make the money. So what we want to do is live in balance like the bees do. And what we want to learn to do is to cross-pollinate our knowledge so that we can learn to be strong and help. Because it is the bees that helped us become who we are today. So many people, they talk about how mankind has dominance or domain over all he surveys. And I tell to them, wait a second, the menu you were handed was handed you by a bee. The choices you made were given you by a bee. The bees made the flowers turn into fruit. The bees made the flowers turn into nuts and berries. The bees made the flowers turn into vegetables. And we chose which nuts and which vegetables and which berries we want to keep and which ones we don't really care about. And now through the gardening efforts of Victory Garden Initiative and through the efforts of Will Allen and Growing Power, we're starting to learn more about getting closer in contact with our food. We're starting to learn that the closer the food is to us, the healthier it is for us. And let me tell you, the same is true with the honey, the same is true with the pollen, the same is true with all the things that bees bring to us. So let's be good ambassadors and spread the buzz as we cross-pollinate the knowledge to everyone we can find. Is everybody cool with that? All right, thanks, Charlie.